Chosen ones, I've seen through my own journey how the narcissistic discard is a divine intervention. It's sent from above. It's a divine intervention that took place and is sent from above. Don't be in a situation where you're feeling less than, where you're feeling like you're not worthy, where you're feeling, if you've been discarded, where you feel like you want the person back and you don't feel like you have any value and you feel like you need them back in your life. What you need to know is taken place is a divine intervention. It's like the hand of God or the universe orchestrating a separation between yourselves for your own well-being. It was drawing a line in the sand. It was when God said no more. It was when the universe said no more. It was this divine intervention that took place to put you on a path of recovery, healing, and for you to transform yourselves and eventually, hopefully, meet your own twin flame or your own divine counterpart and get on with your own journey. You were met with seeing these people for what they were, and you was awakened through it. It was a blessing from above. It wasn't down to them. Everything that they'd done to cause the relationship to end, for them discarding you, whether they ghosted you, whether they just started to ignore you, whatever they'd done was out of their control, because God or the universe has more power than the demonic realm, than the demonic entities, has more power than that, and it supersedes it, and it intervenes and causes a separation between yourselves. As I said earlier on, it causes this separation, and by this separation taking place, in other videos I've gone into what happens with the narcissist when you separate, and I'll touch on it in this video. But also what more I want to bring more to your attention is the reason why this took place. Please press the like and the subscribe button. Help your brother out. It will take 2 seconds of your time. Thank you very much. Back to what I was saying. This divine intervention took place because you was on a journey. I don't care if you was with them for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter. The numbers are relevant. However long you was with them, if they got to a point when they discarded you, they ran out on you, they ghosted you, it's because you're chosen. The reason why they done this is because because you're chosen, and they couldn't get you to where they wanted you to be. They couldn't mold you and shape you. They might have pulled you all over the place. They might have dragged you through the mud. They might have done all sorts of things to you, but they couldn't shape you to what they wanted you to be. And they felt like they needed to draw the last card in the deck, the final straw, and they went for the full discard. It's not the last thing you've heard from them. Trust me on that. It's not the last thing you've heard from them. They will come back in your life and they will attempt hoovers, but as I've explained in other videos, don't wait on for them to hoover you back in. Don't be chasing them. Don't be calling up their phone, pleading with them, asking for them back. The best thing that you can do is allow them, if they've discarded you, is to say to them, great, good, leave it as that, yeah, and don't even chase after them. If you've done a bit of chasing, nip it in the bud. Yeah, and the reason why I'll say nip it in the bud is because it intensifies and prolongs their behavior. You've got to understand, if you leave them to their own devices for a period of time, they'll come back running. They're always checking your social media to see what you're doing. You've got to understand that these lot are illusionists. You can let it play out however you want, however it's played out, yeah. And it looks like it's all in their favor, and then you look like the loser, or you look like the one who's lost out. It's not really the case, and they're very good illusionists to creating this impression around you and messing up your mind. Yeah, they're messing up your mind. You've got to understand that this was all beyond their comprehension why this took place, and they're deeply regretting it taking place because they had a chosen one. Yeah, I've spoken in other videos about how important the chosen one's supply is to a narcissist. And it's very crucial that they have a chosen one, and it's very far and few between that they will land on another chosen one. And you've got to understand this was sent from above in order for this separation to take place, and it was destined for this to happen. Yeah, You're going to be gaining from the situation now, because you're awake to the fact, you've become awakened as a chosen one to the fact that these demonic entities exist and they're not human beings. You've got to get that into your mind, that they're not human beings and they're from another realm. Once you start understanding that these people are not human, yeah, just, you know what I mean, they've got eyes, they've got a heart, they've got a body, but they're just a vessel to these demonic entities, and that's what they function on. So their main objective is to cause you pain and suffering, which is what they get satisfaction on. They're very sadistic. It's what they get satisfaction of. And you've got to understand that enough was enough. You was being drained of your energy. Enough was enough, and there was a higher calling sent from above to cause this separation and to make sure you're safe. It was bringing you back to safety. Enough was enough. They had their chances. They didn't change. They're not able to function on your wavelength. They're not able to function to your degree of thinking. They're not on the same page. They're completely on another script. Yeah? And this divine intervention was a blessing. It was mercy. It was sent your way to make you heal, to let you know that you can do this alone and you don't need them, to let them go. Because us as empathetic individuals, highly empathetic chosen ones, we would have put up with the stuff for years, yeah, and we may never have necessarily gone and left them because we're too empathetic and we was looking at it from the wrong way, and we was looking at it like that they was human beings, and we was trying to resolve things and try and sort it out and try and put the pieces of the puzzle together and try to build a perfect picture. And we was really functioning with an entity, someone who's plugged into an entity from another dimension, from another realm, and that's what we was dealing with. And this was sent our way to attack us as chosen ones. This was sent our way to bring destruction in our life. This was sent our way to put a blockade on our path that we walk, of where we're destined to go. It was sent our way to disrupt our path. But the universe and God said no. It said, it's not happening. I'm taking this chosen one away from this narcissist. And you know what and you know what God and the universe said? I'm gonna take this narcissist, this chosen one, away from this narcissist, and I'm going to cause this narcissist to have a great suffering. They're going to endure a great suffering, because once the narcissist discarded you, they probably immediately found a new source of supply, whether they're showing it or not, and they probably was flaunting it in your face and so forth. But as soon as they reached this new supply, they realized that the grass isn't greener. And it was a whole delusion set up for them. It was they thought they was illusionists, but God presented an illusion upon them, and the universe presented an illusion upon them to make them want to head to where the other grass is greener. And when they got to the other side, the grass wasn't greener, and it wasn't as sweet, and it wasn't the same. And they've probably run into another narcissist, and they don't know what to do with themselves, or they've run into a psychopath or a sociopath. It's very common. These lot are normies out here. There's plenty of them. There's plenty of those types of people in the sea. Yeah, these narcissists, these sociopaths, these psychopaths. Chosen ones are very far and few between. Empathetic people is very rare. We're a rare tribe of people that are on earth, and not everyone's got these high levels of empathy and these capabilities within themselves. So they've ran into this situation now, and trust me, they want you back. And the thing is, what makes it so hard for them, and the impossible question lies with the fact that is because they discarded you, they have a certain amount of pride. They have very high levels of pride, I should have said, very high levels of stubbornness, very high levels of manipulation, and they know that they can't bring themselves to be saying that they're sorry, and they shouldn't have done it. Yeah? And even if they do come and say sorry, they shouldn't have done it. It's a desperation call. It's them playing that card just to get you back, to get the gain. They don't really, just to pull the wool over your eyes. That's what it is. That's what they're doing. by doing that. They're just trying to pull the wool over your eyes to the fact of they know they can't live without you. That's the fact of the matter. But they're very prideful, and it's hard for them to admit it. So they'll probably sit back and do a lot of stalking. They'll be doing a lot of stalking on your social media. They'll be seeing if you've moved on. They'll be checking out what you're doing. But you've got to understand is we can get involved in this battle with them as much as we want. We can get involved in this battle as much as we want, but I would suggest is no contact is the perfect recipe, because you are doing back to them what they've done to you. By the time, if you give this some time, if it's fresh right now and you've been discarded, or it's not even fresh and it's been years and you're still hurting or you're still hung up, you've got to understand that there's a reason this took place, and you begin healing when they begin hurting. This is what happens with the discard. They discarded you. Their heads were in the clouds. I've mentioned this before in other videos. Their heads were in the clouds. They thought the grass was greener. They headed over to the other side. And it wasn't the case. So when they start to begin to get a realization to the fact that you're gone, and their only way back for them is to come begging, yeah, that's when you probably are on the flip side. You're on your healing path. They get their realization. You're already on your healing path. And the longer you leave it without letting them back in, is the more strength you will get, is the more better you will become. It's the more you will evolve as a chosen one. And you will begin to go on this journey of peaks and valleys, yeah, and pinnacles, and reaching the zenith. And you will hit this flow. Or becoming a better person with inside yourself, on the inside, outside, spiritually, physically, mentally, everything. You'll start to become a better person. And these people on the other side of the water, wherever they are, on the other side of the bridge, they're becoming very desperate. They're in dire need of you. They're in dire need to get you back. But this is the thing. They've obviously done such a severe discard, such a hurtful discard, or such a big smear campaign, or sent so many flying monkeys your way, or done some other narcissistic type of behavior, that is very hard for them to flip it back around. You know, they're very quick at creating these messes, but they don't know how to resolve it. They don't have the capabilities to resolve it. They don't even have the capability to get into a normal, healthy discussion. They don't have that capability about them. So when you're talking about something where they've done a huge smear campaign, they've smeared your name, or they've totally dragged you through the mud before discarding you, how do you expect someone with no empathy to be able to come and confront you and tell you that they're sorry? It's very highly unlikely that they'll be able to do that. They don't know how to do that, and that's why they will stick to resorting to doing things like stalking your social media, reaching out to you from fake profiles, you know, calling you probably from private numbers, doing all these sorts of things. And trust me, the quieter they are, the more active they are. If they're very quiet, it's because they're sitting back and they're very confused. You know, some of these people have all moved on and had children. Some of these people have all moved on and got married, had children with other people, and they've had a child with a narcissist before they realised, and they're in this situation, and all they think about is their ex. That's all they think about is their ex, which is you, a chosen one, and they don't know it. They don't know what to do about it. They don't know what to do. They find themselves torn up about this, and it's you know. There is a cure for them to get better, but I don't think they're ready to walk that path. And that path is recognizing that they are influenced by a negative force. They are governed by another realm, and their whole infrastructure and their whole complete wiring and circuitry is completely deranged. If they come to that awakening that everything they are is completely the opposite of what they think they are, and they're completely deluded, they have to go through a real ego death, and they have to really, you know, and if someone wants to go through that kind of course of action with someone, if you wanted to take that journey with someone. But as I've said to you in the mentioned, I'm sure I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, this was a divine, I mentioned it was a divine intervention, but no, I did mention it. There's someone greater for you out there. That's another reason why this took place. There's someone more better for you out there in the world who could have gone through the same suffering that you have gone through. Yeah, they could be particular. They could be chosen. They could be an empath. They could be your twin flame. You know, and these individuals are out there in the world, and you've just got to open the door to reach these people. You know, around our vicinity, I've mentioned in other videos how around us is plenty of narcissists and these toxic individuals. So we have to have our discernment switched on and be very calculated when we're entering a new relationship with someone. But there is someone destined better for you out there. You have to understand these narcissists are illusionists. They make you feel like you can't get no better than what you had with them. That's what they present to you, and they're very good at presenting that case to you. And the way they made you suffer during a discard is very painful. It's very painful what you went through, but you was a chosen one and you wasn't broken by it, and that's the main thing you need to stand by. They thought you would be finished off. They know now as well that it was a divine intervention that took place. They know now that you were sent and you was a blessing to them. That's the one thing you need to be sure about now, is they know that you were sent by something of light. They know you wasn't sent from the darkness. What they sit with every night is sent from the darkness. Yeah, that new supply is probably from the darkness. Is a narcissist, as I mentioned, is a sociopath or a psychopath. They're sent from the dark side. These people have had a huge awakening and epiphany that you were sent from the realm of the chosen ones. You were sent, you were that rare breed, rare type of individual. You were that cut from that different cloth individual that they had in their lives, and they let slip through their fingers, and they suffer every day. They're in a suffering. They don't know what to do. You know, you play on their heads, you circulate round their minds, and you cause them pain. You know, when they're quiet, when they have that alone time, when they think about you and what they've done, and it eats them away, because they're probably putting up with more rubbish with someone else now. They're putting up with they're putting up with someone where they can't even get any supply from. They're putting up with someone who is not a chosen one. They're putting up with someone who is trying to do the same thing to them, and then they've both kind of knocked their heads together and both probably sit there across the table and realize they're both awakened narcissists. You know, this awakens them, actually, as a matter of fact. By them in dealing with you and going through what you go through, that they do awaken to the fact they're narcissistic. By the time that they've moved on with a new supply and they've gone on with their journey, they will awaken to the fact they're narcissistic, and they know you're an empath. They knew there was something about you before they even met you. Before they met you, they knew, well, the entities knew about you as a chosen one, and it sent this narcissist your way. But when they met you, they knew you was different. It's why they got with you. They knew you were different. They knew you were kind. They knew you were empathetic. They knew you cared. It's why they lured you in with that sob story about their previous relationship, or something bad that's happened in their life, or something tragic, that victim story. They lured you in with all of that. They done all of that because they knew that you was empathetic. They knew you was different. Yet they had to draw for the last card because they couldn't mold you to what they wanted you to be. And I don't want you to be thinking you needed to change for them. I'm saying it wasn't able to happen. It won't happen because you can't break a chosen one right now. Yeah, you can go so far, but it'll flip back at you, and it's flipped back at them right now, and they're suffering from it. But you know, moving forward in this subject, you know, don't look backwards, look forwards, You know, look onwards and upwards. Yeah, you might go, if this is fresh, or maybe it's gone on for some time, and you are struggling with being alone. You've got to understand that some of the greatest influences of our time on this earth have spent periods of time alone, and they've resulted in some great projects, or they've resulted into some great inventions, things of that degree. And there's certain things that you can do within your own life, your purpose and your calling, that you might be drawn towards now. That if you give it some time, you'll start to work this all out. But if you're hearing this video, I'm glad you're still here and you're watching, and you know you're chosen. You know that much now. Just keep moving forward, keep researching, and take your time to heal. Don't be too quick to rush into a next relationship. There's no set time that you need to rush into something. Yeah, there's no set time. Take your time, and trust me, you've got the last laugh. Just believe me. So I've seen it. They're suffering, and you need to trust in yourself. You need to trust in the universe, trust in God, however you want to look at it. They're suffering. Someone can't do that much wrong. Don't ever fall victim and believe what they're displaying on their social medias. That is a complete facade. That is complete lies. Yeah? You need to look deeper. They're very miserable. And just make sure that you go no contact and give it a month. Then you'll be stronger. Give it 2 months, 3 months. Yeah? Even if this has gone on for a period of time now, and you've been in and out of contact or whatever, and you've been brought whatever, set your own rules now and give it some time. 1 month, 2 months, whatever, and you don't contact them. Just see what happens. You'll see them come running.